So, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
So my name is Yadira, and this is my interpreter, Carla Wetzel. And for communication purposes, would it be okay if she sat next to you?
Absolutely.
Do you need my resume?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you. Thanks for coming in today. It's nice to meet with you.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to meet you too.
So I want to spend just a little bit of time talking about your resume and your experience. So why don't you first just kind of tell me about yourself and why you're looking to work here.
Okay, so I attend this California School for the Deaf in my junior year, and my experience sophomore year, I was in a program called East, and I had a lot of duties. I had to wash the dishes. If the students hadn't finished their duties, I would have to complete their duties. And I was really good about following instructions, exactly what the teacher wanted me to do. I was committed, and I used to also work on a farm, working on a cherry farm. And just this summer, I actually went back and worked on a blueberry farm with my mom, helped her. It was a really big farm. I mean, I can imagine it's a lot of hard work, being out in the sun like that. So, you know, being at that job, it was a good experience for me to learn that I don't want to do that kind of job in the future. So in the cooking class, my last year, I didn't have a cooking class before. It was the first time. And I was involved in FHA Hero, and that is Home Economics of America. And so I was a treasurer for that club, so I had a lot of responsibility for that. Then I was vice president, and I really liked to be involved with that club. It was really fun, it was a lot of motivation for myself, and I was involved in bread making.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And this was the regional competition that I got first place. And then I went into state competition, and that was in Fresno. And it was students from all over California. I had never had that experience. It was a lot of fun to compete against other people. I got second place, but that's still good. You know, it was a lot of work. I had to make the bread all day, make it perfect, be creative. It wasn't easy, but it was a good experience for me.
A lot of accomplishments. That's great. What would
Yes.
you say is your biggest strength?
I'm creative with making cakes, and I don't rush. I don't care about the time. I make sure that it's perfect, that it's a perfect project, that I can show my skills.
That's good. Can you give me an example of when you've worked with a team, and I'm sure you've worked with teams on some of these projects before, so can you give me an example of something that you accomplished with a team?
So working with a team, we have to practice. We have to listen and figure out feedback, the skills that everyone has, make sure we communicate with each other. You know, if I have some experience or someone else doesn't have experience, I can teach them. We can practice over and over again, have the time commitment that we're giving to the project, and make sure we're more successful. That's an example.
How would your teachers describe you?
What do you mean?
What would, if I asked your teachers to tell me about you and how you are as a student, what would they say to me about you?
Well, the teacher would say that I'm a hard worker. Before, maybe I was frustrated because I didn't know how to do measuring or anything like that, but I worked along and I learned, and that's what I would do. The teacher would come and teach me, explain to me, you know, thinking that I can't do it. No, I can do it, and I can have skills that I can keep up with.
Okay. What do you think is your greatest achievement that you've had? Probably winning first prize, I'm assuming, yeah.
Yes, winning first, and also cake decorating. I'm very skilled with that, with bread making and cake decorating too.
Wow. You made that whole thing?
Yes, just recently.
That's pretty amazing.
And that was at Riverside State Competition. The regionals, I decided to change the design. This one. So this was the regional cake, and I got second place with this, but I decided to change to the other design, completely changes the design, because I figure, okay, this is a state competition, it's a big competition. I had roses that I really struggled to make. I took a lot of patience to make them. It wasn't easy to do all the piping and everything. And there's also royal, cream royal, and it was very hard because it could break. So you had to do it over and over again.
Okay. What questions do you have for me?
Yes, I do have a question. What is your vision of someone being a successful employee?
I think some of the qualities that you've already talked about, I think that you have to be driven, really be motivated to try to take the initiative to do a lot of different things within the company. Certainly demonstrate teamwork when necessary, to be able to work with others. I think those are the things that are really important. And somebody who's creative in this role, obviously we want somebody that would be creative and demonstrate that on a regular basis here at the company.
And what does the work schedule look like?
It's flexible. Typically, we would need you here early in the mornings, but that can be flexible depending on what our clients need and what would be expected, what orders are coming in, et cetera, from them.
And what about equipment? Do I have to bring my own equipment, or do you have everything ready there at
We
the
should
shop?
have everything that you need.
Okay, great, thank you. And quickly, I want to explain, this year I became president for the FHA Heroes, so I run the meetings, and that I really feel like I haven't been shy. That's really helped me with my shyness, and I'm getting feedback from everyone in the meeting, so I do want to show you a picture about that. So those are all the members giving feedback, asking questions. And also at Redwood Service Volunteer that we had in the fall, I never had that experience before. And I realized that we had to be really quick with serving and not give up. And so it was the same idea of being in a restaurant, working in a restaurant. So that was a wonderful experience for me to have.
How many people are in this membership?
Before there were like 30, but now the numbers dropped to 12. Some people, had situations or conflicts, so they had to back out. So we have 12 members now.
Good.
Great, thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Anything else?
Thank you very much for coming in. It was nice to spend time with you and get to know you a little bit better.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed the interview.
Same here, thank you.
Hello, my name is Brian Mendez, and this is my interpreter, Carla. She'll be interpreting for our interview.
Hi, I'm Tanya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So this is my resume.
All right, thanks, Brian. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and why you're here today?
So I'm a senior at California School for the Deaf, and I'm involved in different organizations. I'm involved in Northwestern Youth Corps, and that was a month of outdoor experience, fixing trails, building trails as well, removing some plants so that people can have fun in Oregon. So in that experience, I wouldn't mind having something hands-on like that. Later I started to have different classes, like computer technology. So I'm thinking that kind of changed my path of what I wanted to be involved with.
So you want to be involved in computer technology then?
Yes, I want to be involved in computer technology. Also, being involved with a little bit of business, so I can have a desk like that.
Okay, good. Can you tell me what your greatest strength is?
My greatest strengths are I'm very friendly, I'm easy, outgoing, I'm a very hard worker. I'm also very thoughtful and come up with many ideas to make it work.
Okay, good. Can you talk to me a little bit, and I'm thinking that maybe your experience when you were in Oregon, that you worked with a team to accomplish some goals. Can you talk to me about that experience and when you worked with the team and something that you accomplished?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was very tough because we had a team with people who I didn't know. They were new people to me. So it was tough to have that teamwork. Sometimes it didn't work out. So it was a tough experience knowing how to work with other people. But with that, at the end of the 3 weeks, it was great.
How did you break through that and start to build a relationship with the people you were working with?
So I did have some time alone to think that, okay, I'm going to be working with a lot of people, maybe that I don't like, and so that I really do have to accept that.
Okay. How would your teachers describe you? What would they tell me about you?
That I'm a hard worker, that I'm very outgoing,
What are you most proud of? What's your greatest accomplishment?
What am I most proud of? That being able to be president of the Latino Club. I took over FAA banquet, chairperson, and that's Foothill Athletic Association. So I took that over, and it was a good experience. I learned that I have leadership skills in me. So I'm really proud of being involved with those organizations. And so I know myself better.
Okay, that's good. How long have you been involved with both of those organizations?
So the Latino Club, that was 2 years, and I was president last year. This year, there was a little bit of a conflict because I was working, but I'm still involved with the Latino Club.
That's good. All right, what questions do you have for me?
No questions.
Okay, that's okay. All right, well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for coming in today, Brian. It was really nice to meet you and spend some time with you.
Thank you. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Good morning. My name is Suki Kaur, and this is my interpreter, Carla.
I'm Tanya, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Would you mind if the interpreter sat next to you so it's easier for communication for me to see the interpreter?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. This is my resume that I want to show you.
Great. Well, thank you for coming in today. Why don't you spend a little bit of time telling me about yourself?
So I'm a senior, and I'm in different classes. I love biotechnology and math. Those are my skills And with biotech, that's really helped me to understand a lot of what the teacher has told me about, and I've got a lot of experience with that. And so that is my goal, to work in biotechnology, because I've learned a lot in the lab and also in math. Those are my skills. Both of my parents are involved with math too, so I really feel like I pick up with that a lot.
That's great. So your strengths are in math. Can you tell me some of your other strengths that you might have?
I would say math and biotech, like I said, working in the lab. That's been kind of my favorite thing. I don't really have any other favorite classes. I'm really comfortable with math. Those are my strengths.
Okay, that's good. In your classes, do you have the opportunity to work with teams often?
Yes, we do have teamwork. In the lab, we do have partners and teamwork that we have to work together to understand the lab process. So I've been in that class for 3 years, so I do understand clearly how to work as a team.
Okay. Can you tell me about something that you might have worked on together that was successful, that you accomplished?
Well, working in the lab, how everything works together, like DNA, we had to figure that out and be successful with that to make sure there was a fit, like a genetic fit. So we did that as a group, so we clearly understood that as a team.
Okay, good. How would your teachers describe you? If I was to ask them about you, what would they tell me about you?
They would say that I'm a hard worker. I understand information clearly. If the teacher doesn't understand, I'll ask again to make sure what they mean, and so the teacher can explain to me clearly. So I ask questions always. That's what I like to do. So the teacher can explain to me. I need to make sure that I understand before I go on, so that I have a clear understanding, and then I can help my friends with their work too as a team.
What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I want to help people and support people. I like to communicate with people. Like working in a lab, I would like doing that kind of situation rather than just being by myself or being lazy. That's something I would really be proud of if I get that job as a lab technician.
What questions do you have for me?
What is your vision as of an employee?
So I think some of the qualities that you talked about, I think it's important that you're able to work with a team and have good relationships with your coworkers to accomplish goals. Somebody that's really driven and dedicated to the company, and then just also to their own personal growth and development is important to us too.
I'd like to show you some stuff I did here. This is me in the lab. So in my honor roll grade, I got silver.
Congratulations, you should be proud of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I really like to work hard and study a lot. That's something I really enjoy doing. And I want to have strong self-esteem, work as a team, dealing with people. So if there's something I don't understand when I'm reading, then I can always help ask my teamwork for more support. And then I can grow as a person for myself.
That's important. You wouldn't be able to get this if you didn't have hard work as one of your traits and demonstrate that regularly.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, that's it.
It was nice to meet you today. Thank you for coming in.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ashley.
Hi, Ashley and Tanya.
So this is my interpreter. Her name is Carla Letzer. If you wouldn't mind her sitting next to you, it's easier for communication.
Sure.
Okay, great, thanks.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
So thanks for coming in today. I'd love to get to know your background a little bit better. Can you spend some time talking to me about who you are and why you're here?
So I came here for the interview to explain about myself. So I have a lot of experience, a lot of work experience from last year for looking after little kids, and there's also ASL sign language classes that are offered here, and I've been here since 2008 as a CSD student.
Okay. You like being here, it sounds like a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you looking to do?
Well, in the future, I'd like to work with senior citizens or become an elementary teacher.
Okay, that's great. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your strengths?
My strengths would be I'm organized, I finish everything on time, and I don't give up. Let's say if a boss or a teacher tells me what to do, I go ahead and do it right away. And I'm very consistent, and I like to have a challenge. I like a challenge for myself.
What about working with a team? Do you get to work with a team very often?
Yes, it depends on, sometimes I like to do things individually or work as a team. If someone needs help to work as a team, yes, I can be involved with that, but sometimes I like to work as an individual.
Have you had a situation where you've been able to work with a team and had a project that was successful that you guys completed together?
Yes. Sometimes, let's say if someone is absent a lot on the team, then, you know, it's hard for me to take over that situation. And then I have to do something else, like extra, if that person isn't here, I have to take over for them, so.
Okay. How would your teachers describe you if I asked them about you?
I'd actually like to show my letters of recommendation.
Yeah, that would be fine. So Adam says that you are really organized and take a lot of pride in your work, so that's great.
Thank you.
And you love challenges. This is a really nice letter. Okay. And that would be consistent from all of your teachers, I'm assuming, that they would all say those things about you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What is your greatest accomplishment? What are you most proud of?
What I'm really proud of, I would say if I'm really struggling with something and I like to meet the challenge, and I feel really proud of myself if I have done that. I want to make sure I feel really good working with people.
Good. What questions do you have for me?
What is a challenge working with senior citizens?
I think it can vary depending on who you're working with, but I think that sometimes just having patience with them, depending on what kind of medical situation some of them may have and different environments that you're in, could be a challenge for people. Communication.
And would you like to have a copy of my references and reference letter?
Yes, that would be great if you can make that as well. It's your resume too, okay?
Yes, resume, right.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do want to add some experience that I had for my CTE class. It's a feast class, it's a cooking class. We went to the Super Bowl, and that was a big challenge for me. There were so many people that were buying food, and so we had to cook all the food, get it all ready. It was a big experience. So that was a lot of teamwork, everybody working together. There were 3 different groups, and we had to do garlic french fries, we had to make the hamburgers, make the chicken, all at the same time, and if it was running out, then we've got to cook more, put it out there, and so it was a big challenge for me.
Sounds like a good success though too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and a lot of fun, I'm assuming too.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing it again, yeah. I mean, to keep working like that.
That's great, good. Anything else, Ashley?
I do want to show you some pictures of some samples that I took for the cake decorating.
Yeah, that would be nice to see. Okay. You like cake decorating?
Yeah, I do. This is my first year this year to experience making the cake, the different levels, and increase my skills. And this is for the wedding cake competition that's going to happen in a couple weeks. So it's been a challenge to decorate it, and there's been some weaknesses like doing the piping. That's been really something that I've struggled with, but I want to make it more perfect.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience to do that.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Okay. All right, Ashley, well, thank you very much for sharing all this information with me. It was great to meet you today.
Thank you for coming and taking your time.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Carla Gomez Zepeda.
Nice to meet you. I'm Tanya Carla.
Nice to meet you. Can the interpreter sit next to you?
Yep, sure. How are you doing, Carla?
Hi. So before we move on with the interview, I do want to show you my resume.
Perfect. That would be good to see. Great. Thank you. So you're interested in a position as a makeup artist?
Yes.
Okay, good. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Let me start with school. So I've been involved in many organizations. The Latino Club, International Studies from last year. And it also involved with the Senior Banquet program for this year. I've been involved with that. We're getting closer to that. A lot of things that I've been involved with, and I really enjoy that. Also, my freshman year, 2014, I was in the Latino, as an officer, Latino Club officer. And after school, I'm involved with many sports, 4 sports, for 3 years.
That's impressive.
Yes. So volleyball was my first year this year. Basketball, 3 years since my freshman year. And softball, this is my 3rd year. And cheerleading, which was last year. And now I'm involved with track, so 4 sports this year.
So why do you want a job as a makeup artist? You have a vast background, I should say. Done a lot of different things already.
Well, I do my own stuff, like at home and for friends. I'm actually helping with prom with all the girls to do their makeup. And I really use it as a hobby, but I also want to use it as a career because I'm good at that.
That's good. All right. So what would you tell me is your biggest strength?
Being creative. I like to, like as far as clothing goes, I like to make sure that that kind of matches the color of the makeup. And I like to have a lot of patience. A lot of people don't have that patience, so I like to make the changes, give a lot of time to that person. And a lot of respect for others. Let's say if someone's overweight or a different figure, I respect them and they respect me back.
What would you tell me, what would your teachers tell me about you?
Well, in class, I'm very humble, and I finish my classwork on time, and I'm a good student. And I try to look for a way to do extra credit to make sure my transcripts look good.
What, so in all your sports, you've obviously been on a lot of different teams. Can you tell me, on one of those teams, something that was a great accomplishment for you guys?
Yes. My freshman year, 2014, for the softball team, we were really proud as a team, and we really are showing a lot of respect to each other, a lot of responsibility, and good sportsmanship. We had that. And we got 2 championships
Congratulations.
thank you, for NCS and our Hoy tournament. And the Hoy tournament itself is a deaf tournament with all different deaf schools to compete against each other. And so we got first place for that year by 1 point.
Wow, that's awesome. You should be really proud of that. How do you,
Yes.
how do you make sure everyone works together on a team when you guys are together?
Well, you have to show respect, be polite, be patient. There's a lot of things that would really help with having good spirit for the team. That's really important for the team. And we're like sisters. If there's any problems that we might have, we try to solve them there and don't bring any problems to the team. Leave your problems outside. And make sure the policy is really clear for the softball program. Also, this year, I was captain of the softball team.
That's great. What about, what are you most proud of?
In general, well, freshman year, a lot of things happened freshman year. It was a really great year. I accomplished a lot of things. Like I said, Hoy tournament, a championship. I was on the prom committee, and everything went well.
Yeah, you have a lot of things to be proud of based on the various stories you've told me already. That's great.
Yes.
What questions do you have for me?
What's your ideology for employees?
So I think it's a lot of the different traits too that you've talked about already. So I think even in this particular role, you want to have somebody that demonstrates patience, wants to work with the team when there's a team to work with. I think that somebody that really is driven and motivated for their own personal development and growth, I think that those are things that are really important to us.
What about a job position? What do you think strengths or that are important for that role?
I think for a makeup artist role, I think somebody who's creative, as you've talked about, I think that that is a unique trait that you would have to have for that particular role. And then patience as well too, because you're gonna work with a lot of different customers and clients, obviously, and that's gonna be important, to be able to be patient with them and helping them accomplish whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Okay, I guess that's all. I don't know how to say it, but
That's completely fine. I appreciate you coming in, Carla, to spend some time with us and tell me a little bit about yourself. I hope you have a great day.
thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Milana.
I'm Alana. I'm Tanya.
This is my interpreter, Carla.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Do you want to have a seat?
Would you mind if the interpreter sat next to you for the purpose of me to look back and forth for communication?
That's completely fine.
Thank you.
How are you doing today, Milana?
I'm doing good. Do you have a copy of my resume?
I don't. If you have one, that would be great. All right, thank you. So you're looking for a position as a teacher assistant right now?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you want to become a teacher's assistant?
I really like working with people, I don't like working by myself. I like working with people, so I want to become a teacher's aide before in the future I can have different positions and move up. So that I can learn what the opportunities are, and then I can become a successful person.
Good. So tell me a little bit about you and your background.
Well, I grew up here at the School for the Deaf in Fremont, and I'm a junior now, and I've been involved in a lot of activities. I'm taking CTE classes, which is Career Technical Education, and I'm taking woodshop class, Feast, work experience. Wood class, I've made a lot of stuff from wood, from scratch. Like if there's pallets that are left over, I like to be creative and use it again. I like to reuse, and so that way you're not wasting anything. Feast, I am involved with FHA Hero, and that is a group of people that are cooking together. There's advanced cake decorating, wedding cakes, bread making. So I decided to be involved with bread making, and I got second place in regional. And then I went into state, and there were 800 people there, so we competed against each other. And I didn't make it, but it was a wonderful experience. And I really grabbed a lot of opportunities that were offered me there. And I was involved with work experience. I was involved with early childhood education. Working with them, I really loved that. That's when I really started to be involved with kids, working with people. That's why I want to be a teacher's assistant, so I can really learn more. Also involved with sports, volleyball, basketball, soccer. Again, not individual person, team team player. I like to work with people. And all of that being involved with, with my current GPA, I'm doing really good, honor roll, all of that. I would also like to show you my work sample that I have been working on.
That's going on working.
Yes, that's from the palette, from reusing it.
It's beautiful.
My most recent project, I worked on a bed frame, which is right here. And those are all from wood pallets.
Wow. It's a great experience that you have, very diverse with woodworking and then all of your baking. That's awesome.
Yeah, I always like to take advantage of the opportunities and see where I develop and where I'm successful. So this right here is the work experience that I had working with the little kids. That's where I really started to be involved with that.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
What would you tell me is your greatest strength?
My greatest strengths, I'm very flexible, I'm very thoughtful, and I work well with people. So going back to being flexible, if something gets mixed up and somebody needs some help, I'll definitely try to make sure that things work out. I don't want it to be just like, oh, it's not my problem, I'm not going to do it. I want to work with people, I want to be flexible and make sure everything works out. I'm very thoughtful. Like I said, I don't like to be just working as an individual. I want to be a team player. I need to be thoughtful, think of others, understand other people's perspective, and really have that connection. And I don't like to work as an individual. Like I said, I like to work with people. Really good at making those connections and having good vibes out there.
That's great. Can you give me an example of a time that you worked with a team on something that was a great success? I'm sure you have lots of experience in that.
Well, I was involved with FHA Hero as vice president, and that was a lot of work. But working with that group, there was a lot of success. Every Monday, we would have a meeting that we would run, and the president sometimes wouldn't be there, so I would have to take over and run the meeting, and I can see that kind of thing being very successful, that the kids were really motivated to participate in the meeting. Sometimes I even, in December, we had a gingerbread house making competition, so we had teams, everyone would make the gingerbread house and see the way that they had their different ideas. Some didn't fail, they fell apart because maybe they had too much frosting or not enough frosting, so that kind of thing. So I feel like that was really successful to see myself as pushing everyone to go through the different opportunities.
What would your teachers tell me about you? would they describe you?
My teachers would say that I'm very flexible, I'm a hard worker, and that I will complete everything on time. If you needed something that was due, I would complete it. If they needed something done now, they know that I would be a reliable person, that they could ask me and I would go ahead and work on it. Do you want my references?
Yes, that would be good. And your letter of recommendation too?
Yes, so you can go ahead and contact the teachers to know more about me. Don't be afraid to do that.
Okay, great. I just want to read your recommendation letter right here. Yeah, so very passionate, positive role model, great asset, very organized and friendly. Those are good qualities. What are you most proud of?
I'm proud of the person who I am. That's what I really like about myself. I'm a very motivated person. I like to complete things. I like to see other people to feel like they can rely on me, that I'm dependable. I want to meet their expectations. So I'm really proud of the person of who I am, and I like to complete everything too.
Great. Well, what questions do you have for me?
Well, if you do hire me, what are your expectations as far as me being an employee under you?
I expect somebody that's going to be dedicated to the company, really driven and passionate about what they do, and really want to be the best employee that they can be here. So, and I think based on what you've told me about yourself, I think that that would not be an issue at all, that you'd be able to meet all those expectations.
Thank you. And so as far as people working together, what is a key to success on how they thrive?
I think communication is one, and understanding, when you have a lot of different people working together, obviously, they come with different perspectives, different backgrounds, and so I think just having really good relationships and understanding of one another and not making assumptions about, different situations and about people in general, I think that those types of qualities make a good teamwork, and really the willingness, obviously, of wanting to be a good team.
So you were mentioning about communication. I was curious, what do you prefer approach as far as communication? Through email or in person? How do you guys communicate?
My preference is in person as much as possible, unless it's just a quick response, obviously through email, but I think a lot can be missed in translation just through email and a lot of assumptions made, so I think that the relationships that you build in person are much more valuable than in email.
Thank you. And how soon will I hear back from you?
We're still interviewing through the rest of this week, so I would say by the end of this week or early next week, we will have a decision.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, thank you for your time today. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So my name is Brianna.
Hi, Brianna. I'm Tanya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. This is my interpreter, Carla. She'll be our interpreter for today. Would you mind if she sat next to you so it'd be easier for you to look back and forth?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. And do you have a copy of my resume?
I don't, so if you have one, that would be great. Great, thank you. Thanks for coming in today to meet with me.
Great.
So you're looking for a job as a teacher assistant?
Yes.
Why do you want that role?
Well, one of the high school requirements here is work experience, and I thought, what am I gonna do? I don't know what career choices I have, so I worked with the first grade teacher for a year, and I really loved that job. So I decided, yes, I wanna be an elementary teacher, but of course, the first process would be a teacher's aide, and then working with kids, that's my dream.
That's great. What, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and maybe walk me through your resume?
So I'm a junior, and I was grown up here at the School for the Deaf since I was a baby. And I've been involved in different sports, volleyball, basketball, cheerleading, and cheerleading's been a pretty long time. I've been involved in yearbook as well. My first year, it was a really good experience, and I have work samples if you want to see it.
Okay, what is this?
So this is, you know, there's so much technology out there, so I wanted to look like it was a text conversation. It's not a real layout, but it was some of the layout like teenagers talk to equal what, you know, the technology is that teenagers use now. So I made that page look like this.
Okay, that makes sense, that's cool.
Yeah.
What would you say is your greatest
Oh, I'm
strength?
also involved with, in the play, in Robin Hood for 1 year, and that was a good experience for me too.
Okay. What would you say is your greatest strength?
So patience, persistence, and time management. As an elementary teacher, I know you'll need a lot of patience working with kids, their different behaviors, so you have to really fit with them. So that's the key of that job. And persistence, whatever the task is, maybe it's boring or it takes a long time, you still have to be persistent to finish that job, feel good about it. And time management, I'm a multitasker, so I could do something in 20 minutes, something else in an hour, and then go back to the other project. So I'm really good about time management.
What would your teachers tell me about you? How would they describe you?
That I'm a hard worker, that I'm focused, and I focus on a job until I'm done, and I'm very flexible. If they need me to do something else last minute, that's fine. And I do have a letter of reference. Do you want that?
That would be nice too.
And this, I also have 3 personal references.
That'd be great. Just want to contact them as well.
Great.
Yeah, so it says that you're always flexible and have a lot of patience and extremely skilled at working with young children. So,
Yes.
good qualities. Okay, great. Can you tell me about a time when you worked with a team, an accomplishment that you had with working with that team?
Well, of course, everyone has different personalities, so you really have to try to mesh with those personalities as a team. Work as one team. Even though maybe I don't know that person very well, we still have to work as one team. And the results will be good.
How do you get people to work as one team?
Well, I would try to think about what we're trying to do. What is the thing that we need to accomplish? And if we continue working on it and finish it, then we will feel good about that. You know, not like give a lecture, but make sure that we all work together and look at the result as one team.
Okay, good. What are you most proud of?
I take my academics very seriously, and I made it on the honor roll. We have gold and silver, and gold is 3.5 GPA or higher, and I made it a few times, so I really, really feel good about that. And I take academics very seriously.
As you should. That's a great accomplishment. Congratulations. What
Thank
questions do you have for me?
What are the work shifts? What do they look like?
So they vary. We have people that start in the morning and will stay through afternoon, and then some people that come in later on, like late morning and stay until early evening. So 2 different shifts, and we're looking for a couple of different people to fill both of those shifts.
Okay. If the person you hire works under you, what is your vision and goal to work for this company?
So the vision is to be able to provide our students meet all of their needs and be able to provide them the best education environment that they can have. So I'm looking for somebody that's going to have a strong desire to work with our students and to help our teachers, because they're obviously incredibly busy right now and don't have enough help to be able to get through the particular day. But our students also have a lot of questions and just probably need advice and time with their teachers as well. So I'm looking for somebody to be able to help with all of those things.
Okay, right. What makes you love coming to work every day?
The students. and the passion that people have. Yeah. I love working with people too, every day. I couldn't work
Yeah.
by myself, so yeah, the passion that collectively all of our students and teachers have, that's what makes me love my job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's really nice to meet you. I appreciate your time today. We'll be in touch with you soon.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you. Hello, I'm Megan Booth.
Hi Megan, I'm Tanya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So this is my interpreter, Carla Wetzel. Would you mind if she sat next to you before we start so I can look at both of you for eye contact and communication? Sure.
How are you doing today, Megan?
I'm good. I'm excited to come here with you. Before we do start, do you have a copy of my resume?
I don't. If you have one, that would be great.
Yeah, let me go ahead and give that to you.
All right, great. So you're looking for an intern position in psychology.
Yes. I'm not sure exactly the career, but for now I know I'm interested in psychology.
Why are you interested in psychology?
I like how people react. Like, you seem so interested in me right now, you know? Like, I like reading other people. And I really have been involved with drama for 3 years. I'm really crazy about that. So there's a lot of emotions, a lot of facial expressions, not only myself, but including the audience. And that requires a skill, so I'm good at that. So psychology, I definitely am interested in that.
Okay, great. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? You have a lot of activities that you're involved in, it looks like.
Yes, yeah. Many people say that I always have a lot on my plate, but that's one of my skills. Like I said, I'm Megan, and I attend the California School for the Deaf in Fremont. I'm a junior. And my goal after I graduate is to go to Gallaudet University, the only deaf university in the world, and major in psychology. And I've been involved with a lot of organizations. My responsibility so far, I've been involved in the Foothill Athletic Association as secretary, taking the minutes of the meeting. Class president of my class, 2017, running the meetings, communicating with administrators, all of that. I volunteer a lot at sporting events. Volunteer for the new family orientation weekend that we had just last weekend, where people want to have their students come to school here. And so my duty was to basically convince them. And that's one of the good things I'm good at, convincing people. Playing with the kids, keeping them busy, make sure they feel welcomed.
Okay, good. What would you say is your greatest strength? So you said convincing people, but besides that, what would you say is your greatest strength?
I'm good at multitasking. As you can see, I'm involved with many things going on. I like to be consistent with that. And I'm good at being flexible, fitting in with either older people or kids, making sure they get what they need, give them 100% communication. If there's a communication barrier, we can either write back and forth, have an interpreter, we can gesture, that will be fine. And I just want to make sure that communication is there. With full range of communication, fast, slow, I'm good at making changes with people.
Okay, good. How would your teachers describe you to me?
My teachers would say there's always a lot going on with me, and I'm very close with my teachers. That's one of the things I'm good at, dealing with my teachers. And the teachers would say that they always give me I always give 100% effort, and that I like to work fast. I'm a fast worker, and I pick up easily. If there's something I don't understand, I'll try to solve it on my own, find the problem on my own. And I'm a fast learner, and I can learn right there and do good at that.
Can you tell me about a time when you worked with the team on a project and accomplished something, did something that was successful?
What project?
Any project.
Being class president, we had to do random acts of kindness, and so we all had different ideas. and that include kindness, thoughtfulness, and we worked as a team, as a group, to do each other's part, and we could see people smile, and that really was a successful project because we included everyone, even people out in the community. So we had little notes that we would write, sweet messages, and put it in people's cars in the parking lot, and put information, like those little cards in their lockers, in the students' lockers. So we felt that we really included the community, and that was very successful with everybody being involved.
I'm sure that the students and just the community in general really appreciated that too.
Yeah, I think so too.
What are you most proud of?
My accomplishments. I went to international studies. I went to another country. I had to fundraise money. It was a lot. It wasn't easy to fundraise on my own. Money was a little bit tight, so I fundraised a lot, involved in a lot of activities. People say good things about me, and I'm making people's perspective of me look good. So I was really proud of my accomplishments.
What questions do you have for me?
What does the work schedule look like?
So typically it's business hours, so Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 or so. So that's typically the hours that we work.
Okay, I can do that. What skills are you looking for?
I'm looking for really somebody that has a willingness to learn. I think that's huge because that, as an intern in this role, you're going to learn a lot of different traits and a lot of different information that comes through here. So you have to have a strong willingness and be dedicated to learn and ask a lot of questions. That's going to be really important too for your own development as well, and offer feedback. So and then also somebody that's just dedicated to the position, to the role. Is going to be here regularly. Those are things that I'm really looking for right now.
Okay, that's a good thing. I'm a fast learner. I can pick up easy. And I believe in feedback. Yeah, I think feedback is important.
I agree. Very important.
That's all I think.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in today, Megan. It was nice to meet with you.
Thank you. Thank you for meeting with me today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, interpreter. Hello, I'm Cameron.
Hi, Cameron. I'm Tanya. Nice to meet you.
This is my interpreter, Carla Wetzel. I wonder if she could sit next to you for communication purposes?
Yep, that works.
Thanks.
How are you doing today, Cameron?
I'm good. Busy. School's getting close to being over. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking.
Good. So before we go on, I want to give you my resume.
That would be great. Great, thank you. So you're looking for a position as an athletic trainer.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Why are you interested in that role?
Because I see my athletic trainer and my strengthening coach and other kids, really how they've developed, become better athletes and stronger. So I want to inspire other kids to be that in the future.
It's a good goal to have. So why don't you walk me through your resume and tell me a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Cameron, I'm 16, I'm a junior, and I consider myself as a scholar athlete. I have school and sports, 3 sports, football and basketball and baseball. And I average almost 3.5 GPA for the last 3 years. I'm also involved with International Studies Club. For spring break, we went to Mexico, and with my class, we learned about the history, the culture, the deaf culture, all of that. And also I was involved with a woodworking class, making projects, and let me show you my work samples about that. I made a briefcase my freshman year.
That's beautiful. Wow,
Thank you.
that's really nice.
And now I'm making a chair.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
I should be finished with that in a few weeks. So that's my hobby, you know, something I want to do with wood. I'm also involved with engineering graphics, 3D printing, and I'm involved with that class. I know that's a hot technology, so I want to learn how to do that. So I'll show you my work sample regarding that.
Nice.
So it's a translucent project. so the light can come through and it'll glow through the canister itself.
How long does it take to create that again?
About 3 hours,
Okay.
layers and layers from the bottom to the top.
So tell me a little bit about your strengths. What do you think is your greatest strength?
My strengths, I'm responsible with my own work, very responsible person, good grades, projects, homework, and I'm very adaptable, very flexible, can fit either a schedule or anything, I'm not rigid. And I'm good at communicating. If something happens or anything like that, I'll make sure I communicate. So those are my 3 strengths.
Okay. What can you tell me about an example? And you've been on a lot of teams in the various sports that you play, but can you tell me about an example of when you worked with your team to accomplish something?
So the last basketball season in February, we were into the league playoffs for the weekend. During the championship game, we were against that team and they beat us twice in the regular season and we beat them 1 time. So during that game, we worked as a team, run as a team. You know, I consider myself as a team too, and we won league championship. So that was a good feeling for our team.
Congratulations, that's great.
Thank you.
What would your teachers tell me about you? How would they describe you?
They would say that I'm very responsible, I'm willing to learn, I communicate well, I'm a good listener, and when they empower me to do something, I will do it. And I can show you my letters.
Great, thank you. Learn effectively and quickly. It sounds like you're very flexible.
Yes.
Communication is consistent between.
Yeah, that's
Great
important.
communicator. It is important. I agree with you. All right, thank you. Can I keep these?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. What are you most proud of?
Proud of myself. Average of 3.5 GPA, playing 3 sports. That's not easy. You know, I see some kids who don't play sports and their grades aren't that great. So I've got good grades and playing sports. So I'm proud of myself.
It takes a lot of work and dedication to do that, that's for sure.
Yes, for sure. Practice Monday through Thursday, sometimes Monday through Friday, plus homework, everything.
What questions do you have for me today?
I was curious, for this department, what do you see happening in this department in 5 years?
Growth, hopefully. That's what we're hoping to do, is to expand our team. And that's what we're really trying to go forward with on that plan, is to grow our team.
What kind of skills are you looking for in me? So when I work with you?
So I think some of the things that you're already talking about, I think somebody who's a good communicator, who seem to have a lot of dedication and drive is important. Somebody that also has patience, because you'll be working with a lot of different clients, obviously, with different needs, and so having patience with those clients is going to be important too.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate your time. It was
No
nice
problem.
meeting you.
Hope to hear from you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Shelby McDonald, and I'm here for the interview. Your name?
I'm Tanya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I want to introduce my interpreter for the interview. Her name is Carla Wetzel. I wondered if I could have the chair sit next to you for communication purposes, would it be easier? Thank you.
Thanks for coming in today, Shelby. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited, looking forward to this interview.
Same here.
Do you have a copy of my resume?
I don't, so if you have one, that would be great.
I'll give it to you.
Thank you. So you're looking for a role right now as an elementary teacher assistant?
Yes.
Why do you want that role?
Well, I've always had that passion to work with young kids. I've always been fascinated how they think. When they ask me why, I think to myself, yeah, why? You know, lets me think more in depth. And my goal is to see the kids graduate and be successful in life. So I can say, oh, that student was under me before, so that's my passion.
Good. What do you think is your biggest strength?
My biggest strength, working with people. I'm really easy to get along with people. I'm really strong in communication. If something comes up, I would email someone right away if they needed to know information, and completing my tasks.
Okay. Can you walk me through your resume and just tell me a little bit more about yourself and what your experience is?
So I'm from California School for the Deaf. Since preschool, I've been here, and I've been involved in a lot of things. Student body government is one of them. That is with high school, we run a club to improve the high school overall, and I was secretary. So my responsibility was to arrange PowerPoint presentations, take notes of what the students had added to the information. I also was involved with international studies. I went to Mexico, and that was really amazing. The language, the culture, the diversity, it was really amazing. I was also involved with sports. Most recently, I was involved with soccer. And I really, working as a team player, having that experience has really given me the opportunity to thrive.
So speaking of teams, can you tell me about a time when you've worked with a team to accomplish something?
Can you repeat that question again, please?
So can you give me an example of a time when you've worked with a team to accomplish a goal or a task?
So working as a team, make sure everybody's on the same page, regardless of what happens. If it's a bad day, you have to be consistent. If we win or lose, it doesn't matter. We play as one. And then we can have an accomplishment at the end. Not only winning, but just being as a team.
What would your teachers tell me about you? How would they describe you?
Well, they would say I'm nice, I'm friendly, easygoing with other students and staff. I always complete my tasks and work as a team together.
What are you most proud of?
Something I'm most proud of. Seeing kids that I used to babysit. There were no problems when I babysat them, even though there might be some issues that happen, but I worked through it, and I'm really proud of that.
What questions do you have for me today?
I have a few questions. First, would you like to see some information about my portfolio?
Yeah, that would be great. Some letters of recommendation.
Yes, do you want to see those three?
Sure. You can, yeah.
I have them ready.
All right, thank you.
And I also have personal references, if you'd like to have
Yeah,
those.
that would be nice too. With them. Thank you.
Great, wonderful.
So you build great relationships with your peers, it looks like.
Yes.
Self-motivated, very encouraging to others. Okay, what else do you want me to look at in here?
I can show you some recognitions that I've received.
Okay,
This right here.
what is this for?
Character counts, showing that I'm trustworthy, that they notice that I'm very responsible, fairness, that I treat everyone equally.
Okay, and this is an annual award that goes out to students?
Yes, it was when I was in middle school. They recognize students every year.
All right.
And another one here.
Great. Those are nice words to have.
Yes, thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Yes. Just curious, what kind of traits are you looking for in employees?
I think some of the things that you've already talked about and things that I can read also in your letters of recommendation is that it looks like you're self-motivated, a quick learner, very passionate about your role, and that you really spend time trying to work with others and help develop them. Those are things that we're really looking for.
Okay, great. And I'm happy that that I fit the traits. So another question is, what benefit packages do you provide?
I think there's standard benefits. As a new employee coming in, we have standard medical, dental, vision care for all of our employees that would be available to you within the first 30 days after you started with the company, and then standard vacation policy and sick time. I think it's nothing different that you wouldn't see out there in other jobs.
Okay, great. And how long will I hear back from you before you make your decision?
Probably by the end of this week or early next week. We still have interviews through the rest of this week, so someone will get in touch with you by the end of this week or early next week with our decision.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time today. It was
Thank
very
you for
nice
your
to
time.
meet you. Thank you.
Sornosa.
Hi, I'm Tanya. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. This is Carla Wetzel, our interpreter for today's interview.
All right. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And she can go ahead and sit here for communication purposes so I can see her, okay?
Yep. That's fine. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Great day today. Do you have a copy of my resume?
I don't, so if you have one, that would be great.
Let me give you one.
Thank you. All right, so it looks like you're wanting to secure a position at the Nike outlet. Do you have a specific position in mind that you want at Nike?
Yes, for Nike, I want to work as a stock clerk, stocking clothes, kind of behind the store.
Why did you pick that position specifically?
Well, I love Nike store itself. I always buy their products, so I want to help the business, and I think that will help improve the business.
Great. That's great. So can you walk me through your resume a little bit and your skills and your background?
Sure. So I'm a student at the California School for the Deaf. I'm a junior. All 3 years, I have a 3.6 GPA average. I also being involved in AP English all 3 years. It's tough, but I really enjoy that class. Also involved with International Studies class, studying about history, the culture, the food of Mexico. And I actually flew to Mexico for a week. Really enjoyed that, seeing a lot. And I definitely will travel again. In the career technical education classes, I'm taking wood class and engineering class. So for the wood class, I made a cabinet, dresser drawer, and a sock drawer as well. For the engineering class, I use 3D printing, learn about engineering and 3D printing. I've been involved with sports as well, playing football, basketball, and the off-season weightlifting. And for football, I was team captain and quarterback of the team. So I really enjoyed that. I love football. It was a good season. I love playing with my team. Basketball was a great season as well. I played forward, and it was fun. I really love basketball too. Off season, I focus on keeping my body ready for the next season. And that's it.
Okay, good.
Oh, and also my skills. You had mentioned my skills?
Yeah.
So my skills are working as a team player and being very detailed, involved, organization, make sure everything is organized, and I'm on time as well. As far as attendance, turning in my assignments, all on time.
What do you think out of all those is your greatest strength?
My strength? My greatest strength would be details, very detail oriented, making sure everything is measured right. Like for my wood class, my measurements have to be perfect to make sure I'm building it and make sure it comes out great. Let me show you my work sample.
Oh, wow. You got all of that?
Yes,
That's amazing. How long did that take you to do?
about a month.
It's a lot of work. That's really detailed too. It's beautiful.
Yes. And that's always, like I said, my strength, being detailed. And being on time too. The teacher asked me to finish this within a month, So I had to finish it within a month and turn it in, so I felt good about that. And I'm not the only one who made this. I made most of it, but I did work with a team on this for the cutout, make sure everything was fit. So I worked with all the different measurements with that student to make sure it didn't get messed up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you a question about teamwork and have you give me an example of something that you've accomplished as a team. So this would definitely be something that you've done as a team. That's a good.
Yes, for sure. Also, including sports, playing football, all of us have to be a team. Myself being as a quarterback, I have to give the right play, and all the team has to follow the play itself, so that we can have a successful play, either a touchdown or, it's a lot of teamwork that is involved with sports too.
How would your teachers describe you?
Well, my references that I have here.
What's this?
Letters of recommendation.
Okay.
So my teachers would say a lot about me, that I'm a hard worker and that I'm motivated to learn and that I pay attention. And like I said, being a hard worker, making sure for this wood project, I would even stay class a little bit later to finish the assignment. Motivated to learn. Sometimes I make a mistake, but the teacher would explain to me. I would listen to that and make sure that I don't do that mistake again.
These are good qualities, okay? What are you most proud of?
Most proud of about what?
About work, your experience, what are you most proud of at school?
I'm most proud of myself at school, yes, because I do complete my homework and I make sure I have a great GPA. And I'm also proud of my team, my football and basketball team, because we had a lot of practice. We make sure we all work together as one, and the whole season, like 3 months long of football, 3 months long of basketball. And we see each other every day, and we all became successful with that one goal to win. And so I'm really proud of all of us.
Good. What questions do you have for me?
So I was curious, what do you see that needs improvement at Nike?
I think just for the role that you're trying to apply for at this point in time, I think that getting our shelves stocked with our merchandise, as you can see when you walked into the store, it was very empty. And so there's a huge need right now to improve all of our merchandise getting out on the floor timely and in the right places.
Yeah, hopefully I can definitely help with that area. How long will it be before I hear back from you?
So probably the end of this week or the beginning of next week. We're still doing interviews for this role through the end of this week, and then we'll get back in touch with you later this week or beginning of next week.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time today. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.